nice weekend? Not really, mate, no.
Gentlemen, how's it going today?
Not too self.
And George, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So we have Accident Man, Hitman Holiday, which is going to be releasing very soon, October 14th, on demand and digital and in theaters, as it should be. This was action-packed, non-stop. This was a lot of fun. I would love to kind of, because you two, Brainiacs, was a part of bringing this to life. How much fun was it for you to be the director in this film?
A lot of fun, yeah. Like this film's got a load of crazy accidents. We got to do like a load of accident kills. We got a ton of fights to do. So like, yeah, like it's right up our alley. That's the kind of thing we like to make. It's just like fun action and cool stylized kind of stuff. So this was, when we got asked to do this, it was like right up our alley. It was perfect for us. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I checked out the first one. And now, you two taking the helms from Jesse. What was some of the important things that you really wanted to imprint on this edition of Accident Man to make it really yours?
So I think, when Scott came to us and brought us the scripts and stuff, it was very important to him. And I think to us as well was, to really bring the fun out of it, out of this kind of crazy world where these assassins, have this little club and do all these crazy things. We wanted to really elevate the fun of it and the tone of it, make it feel a bit more lighthearted and, just make it a fun ride for people. And, like with any sequel, you want to kind of, go above and beyond and try and improve on the action, the comedy, just up, if we can. And that was definitely our goal for this one for sure.
Yeah, just make like the character a bit larger than life and make Fallon, Fallon goes through some changes in this film. He learns, that friendship's important, all that kind of stuff. So we wanted to make Fallon a bit more kind of like relatable to people. Because if you think about these characters, they're all like terrible, terrible people who do these like terrible things. And we want to make the audience like root for Fallon and be like, yeah, when he's like kicking the ass of the assassin, that you're having a good time with it. So
yeah, absolutely. I just want to say something too before we talk more about the film. I didn't realize how big of a fan I was of you two until I actually started to do some digging. And as a huge Dragon Ball fan, I had no clue. Had no clue you were behind some of those shorts that we have been seeing going viral over the internet. And oh man, it just makes perfect sense now why this feels like those. And it's just like it's catered to what I like to consume on a daily basis. And hopefully, man, if there's some way somehow we could get a feature film of one of those Dragon Ball films, that would be the love that this community needs after that horrible movie that they put out. But that's a conversation for another story.
Yeah, that would be the dream. It was cool that you got to check that stuff out. Like, that was like the first stuff we ever did was live action Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Evolution, like everyone else, made us very angry. So we that kind of inspired us to make some live action. Yeah, that stuff really well on the internet. So yeah, I don't know, a Marvel give us like 200 million. That's more movie.
Yeah, that's the dream. But cool.
You're heading in the right direction. So you mentioned Scott approaching you for this project. At this point now, I just really don't know what can't Scott do. But when you are directing a film, when you have somebody who's so versatile as him, when it comes to stunts, the hand-to-hand combat, whether it is his pure martial arts or whether it is some form of artillery or weaponry, he can do it all. Does this now sort of gives you more of a bigger playground to kind of do the sort of things you want to bring to life, knowing that, it's for sure he can do it. Don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And like, especially like Andy Long, all of our performers, where like, we can basically go, can you do this giant 360? And we're going to camera around a 360. And they're just like, yeah, sure, kind of thing. So many more options to.
Yeah, like you really let the creativity fly. You don't have to compromise on anything. You can really go, okay, I want to try and achieve this shot, do this kick into this move. And they can do it. You're not having to hide anything or away, and you can hold them in the shot for as long as you need. And having performers like Scott and Andy and all of them really, just makes such a big difference to just create the creativity, but also the speed at which you can shoot. We had such a short amount of time to shoot and stuff. So having people that can take after take and nail it, it's such a big difference.
Yeah. I think too. I think films like this does have a certain. It absolutely has a respect for the craft in terms of martial arts and for all of the hard acting stunt workers, martial artists, the cinematographers that bring the action to life. But being able to kind of bridge this into something comedic as well too is a genre that I don't really know how to label it. So for you, where would you kind of fit this film at? And when you said this is the identity of what this film is.
So I suppose we'd say like action comedy kind of thing. And action comedies, they've kind of died a little bit of like, obviously stuff like Marvel and things like that bring comedy to the action that's happening. But I suppose it's also that martial arts, like actual just straight martial arts with comedy. That's what I would say. Like martial arts comedy basically is the.
Yeah, I guess that, especially Scott and myself and Harry as well, all very much inspired by the likes of, your Jackie Chan's and Jet Li's and stuff, and especially Jackie Chan with the comedy element, that he brought into his action. I think, I hope that comes through in this sort of film, that's where the inspiration comes from for sure.
I mean, we even bought like stuff just like being fans of anime. Yeah. We've given Poco like a giant anime style weapon with a brick on a stick and that kind of stuff. So we're able just like, because it's not like reality, it's kind of like a slightly heightened reality. We can go, all right, cool. Well, let's give this guy a giant brick, and it'd be okay, So
I need you two to get back to work like right now. and then when you have somebody like Sarah Chang now being a part of this cast, I think it's just another level, another layer of icing on this cake here. Could you talk about that moment and knowing that now you have another person in part of your casting that can just pretty much do everything on set?
Yeah, I mean, she was number one. She's like lovely to work with, very like just friendly and fun, always like smiling and always happy. She's obviously a wushu champion. She was a wushu champion in real life, so she was able to bring like her fight style is very wushu in this film. Like it's just another person, like you say, we can just go, okay, cool, what can we do here? And obviously her character has that kind of like comedy element to her as well. So that first fight with her and Scott is like starts off as kind of a serious fight, and then by the end of it, they're just doing like stupid stuff, and it's just like fun. Just makes it so much easier. Working with like Faisal, who's played Yendi. He's just like this huge guy, and we get to like use his size and his weapons, all that kind of stuff. Poco, obviously, that bow comes with crazy, like Looney Tunes style fight. So like Peter, who plays Silas, like he's more like a technical fighter, and like it's got that kind of cool Brad Pitt style look. So like everyone that comes into it, we were able to get something different out of them, which we hope shows that each fight kind of feels quite different to the other kind of thing.
Yeah. Kind of going back a little bit too, obviously knowing about your work and time with Marvel, was that the first time you had met Scott and sort of how you started to bridge this friendship?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I worked on Doctor Strange with Scott. I was doubling Benedict, and so I had fights with Scott, and there's bits where he like throws me down the stairs and stuff. So I didn't get to work with him loads, but got to know him a little bit, and that was the first time I met Scott, and then kind of didn't really get to work with him or see him really for a number of years. And then we reached out to him.
We'd actually seen some of our YouTube stuff.
Yeah, you've seen some of the YouTube stuff. We'd been to a film festival called the Fighting Spirit Film Festival, and he was premiering Debt Collectors, and so we went along to that. And one of our films, our X-Men film, Cable. Showed just before his film, so our short film showed just before his feature. So he got to see that, and he said, he really liked it and stuff. So that was really cool. And then we reached out with our proof of concept for a feature film that we wanted to do and wanted to try and cast him in. And long story short, he loved the short film, but wasn't so keen on the character that we wanted to play. So he was like, don't worry. We're like, no worries. And then a couple of weeks later, he ran back and said, hey, look, I've got this other, I don't want to do that film right now, but I've got this other film, Accident Man 2, if you guys are interested. So, and that's where it all kind of started, really. Yeah.
So he gave us a big break, really, which was great. Very, very kind of him.
That's awesome. I think this is a very happily put together a relationship that we need more of here.
hopefully, yeah. Maybe we can. Maybe we can, I don't know, find a Dragon Ball Z character for Scott to
play. Well, for sure. If anybody can, I mean, Yamcha. Let's just call it right now. Yamcha. Now, I do, and now I want to ask this question in the utmost sensitivity. Now, there is amazing action this entire film, and as I said in my review, the deeper and deeper we get into the film, the better and better the action get. You one up yourself, one out other than another, after another, and then you just see an introduction of another character, and there was a particular character in this that we're not going to talk about, but with this scenario, with this particular character, was there any other fear? And this could be a simple, short yes or no question, but was there any fear that you thought that this film may not be able to be released?
Briefly, but
you know, kind of out of our hands. But we, I mean, we'd love to just talk more about the production if you don't mind.
Yeah, not a problem. Yeah, and the reason I bring that up is because even at this point, you still, I feel like how the film crescendos makes that almost even just forgettable by how the third act of this film is put together, where I just felt like there seems to be like just an extra oomph from everybody involved there. So overall, how did you just feel about that finishing product, that super strong final act of this film, knowing that the fans needed to have this?
Yeah, I mean, like, we wanted that final act to be just like a crazy non-stop mega fight fest. Everyone brings their like A game to it, and Ayumi, we think like the Ayumi versus Fallon fight is like a genuinely, you know, top tier. Well, you know, we made it, so we're going to say that, but like top tier martial arts fight kind of thing. So hopefully everyone walks out of the cinema just going like, or from home, whatever, and just goes, "Oh, cool, that was so cool." You know, like the thing for us is like, the thing I love about going to the cinema or watching a film at home, whatever, is like, you know, when like you watch a bit of action or like a cool moment, it almost makes you laugh because you're like, "Oh, that was so cool," and you kind of like, you're like, we wanted to try and give some of those moments where like someone at home is like, "Whoa," when a kick happens, or you know, something like that. So hopefully people will leave, you know, after having those kind of moments.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure that you all got that impression from myself, since I've seen it, knowing that final act, nothing else matters at that point. The film is so badass, and even the little the selfie at the end, was that actually put in the script, or was that just something they did improv to?
It was kind of it was in the script because we had this idea that they take photos to prove they've made the kills, but the guys on the day, we were just like, okay, cool, and then they did that photo. That's a real photo. Good fun. Yeah.
I love it. It's a super solid ending. That was just the little bit of chuckle that I needed at the end. The last thing I do want to ask about is sort of the wild card in the character here, in the character Dante, played by George. I mean, how do you fit a character in a film like this that makes this character so relevant, where all of this badass action is happening all around her? He's just kind of this bystander that's like, you know, just needing help left and right. And then again, was just so and again, something that you said earlier about like deciding who's the bad guy, who's the good guy. Do you care about this person? You're not. And instantly you're like, oh, he's a brat. I don't care about him. Then at some point, you're like, I actually feel bad for that guy.
we were the same. Like, we were like really trying to, because like George as a person, the actor, is very likable, very
funny,
very funny. He has some of like the funniest lines in the film. Like, a lot of that stuff was improvised. Like, every take he would just come out with something different. And so by the end of it, we were like, oh, I kind of like, I like him. Like, we're not supposed to, but we liked him. So yeah, it was a hard balance. But George was amazing to work with. He's like a stand-up and an actor in the UK, and like every take he would just come out with something different and make everyone laugh. So we just got to pick from all the different takes. So yeah, it was good.
That's so awesome. Well, gentlemen, I just want to give you a second. Is there any other project that you may have also extending past this release that you may want to talk about shortly?
So we are in talks for a film that we have written ourselves, where we can't say too much yet, but like, yeah, we've had a couple of offers for stuff as well. So hopefully you'll be seeing more of us soon. And then one day we dream about making that Dragon Ball Z movie. That's the,
One day.
Let's get it done. Harry and George, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. And folks, be sure to check out Acid Hitman, Hitman's Holiday in theaters, on demand, digital, October 14th. You're going to have a blast. For you folks who's a diehard martial artist fan, you're going to enjoy it. For folks that's looking for a little bit of laugh, you're going to enjoy it. For folks looking for some unpredictability, you're going to enjoy it. You get all of that right here in this film, as these two brainiacs put together something that I think was very timely. With everything happening in the world, everything so serious, whatnot, this was something that provided a good time for myself, and I'm sure a lot of others will as well.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the kind words.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for tuning in for this interview, folks. We see you back very soon for many more.